You wouldn't believe it, but she actually called the cops on me just for trying to move out of my own damn house. Yeah, 5 patrol cars rolling up, lights flashing, officers jumping out with hands on their holsters like I'm some kind of fugitive. All because Susan Blackwell, our HOA queen bee over in Oak Ridge Estates, figured nobody leaves her little kingdom without her say-so. But oh man, Susan didn't count on who was stepping out of that fifth car. Something that flipped the whole nightmare on its head. And trust me, what happened next still gives me chills when I think about it. It all kicked off about 6 weeks back when I got this golden ticket. Mercy Health Network wanted me on board for a 5-year deal supplying organic veggies straight from my plot. Enough cash to turn my backyard hobby into a real operation that'd make my late wife Emily proud. See, Emily was a nurse through and through, always preaching about food as medicine, how clean eating could heal folks from the inside out. And before the cancer took her 3 years ago, she made me swear I'd keep growing the purest stuff I could. No shortcuts. That morning I hammered the for sale sign into the lawn, staring at the thyme bush she'd planted with her own shaky hands in those final weeks. Dew sparkling on the leaves like tears she never shed in front of me. It felt like destiny, you know? Like she was whispering, "Go for it, John." But then Susan pops up from her McMansion across the way, all 50-something with her blowout hair and yoga pants she never sweats in, striding over with that sugar-coated venom in her voice. "John, darling," she coos like we're old pals, "surely you're not abandoning our perfect little slice of suburbia." I lay it out polite as pie. The hospital gig, expanding the farm to honor Emily, but her eyes go flat, cold as a winter pond, and she murmurs, "Well, transfers get tricky with our rules, Section 14 and all. Hope you've dotted those I's." Truth was, Susan had it out for me ever since I dragged the HOA to court 2 years back over her ban on front yard gardens. Called them eyesores that tanked property values, but I proved they boosted them, one big, and bam, I was her public enemy #1, hidden behind those fake grins and snide asides at block parties. She didn't waste time striking. Slapped an orange ticket on my door for my delivery van sitting in my own driveway too long. $500 fine buried in some dusty bylaw nobody'd enforced in the 12 years I'd called Oak Ridge home. I paid it, but not before taping our chat when she showed up to gloat. "This is just the opener, John," she hisses, thinking the recorder's off. "You think you can ditch your duties here? I've got connections, favors owed, you'll never get out." 2 days on, my hot lead buyer ghosts me, spooked by Susan's mass email blasting me as a deadbeat with 52 fake violations, photoshopped proof mixed with just enough real dirt to stick. I'd had maybe 3 real ones, all harvest time slips. Reading her lies, that helpless fury boiled up, same as when Emily's diagnosis hit. But I heard her voice in my head. "Fight smart, John, with heart and head, not heat. That's how we win the real battles." So I hunkered down, logging every email, every threat, turning her war into my paper trail, not knowing she'd already dialed up her web of favors, making things way worse. Next hit like a gut punch. My movers bail, boss on the phone sounding scared spitless. Susan's threatening lawsuits, says we need special HOA permits or we're trespassing. Sorry, man, can't risk it. Packing solo, I hear a tap at the back door. Elena Vargas, mid-40s with flour in her curls from her corner bakery, glancing around like a spy in a bad thriller. "John, we've got to talk," she whispers, clutching this beat-up journal. "But not here. Susan's got Gary watching." Gary Knox, her latest squeeze, 48 and unemployed ex-military, parked in his creepy van with tinted windows, binoculars glued to houses. Folks whispered he'd rifle trash for violations. But it was the power trip he craved, that leer that made women cross the street. Elena spills it. Susan's pulled this on 4 families in 3 years. Harass, fabricate fines, intimidate till they sell cheap to her sister's shell companies, pocketing HOA cash along the way. "She shut my home baking side gig last year," Elena says, voice cracking. "Threatened arson on my shop if I didn't vote her budget. My hubby's a sergeant, but even he needs ironclad proof to nail her. She's too slick, too tied in." That lit a fire. We plot. I play bait, keep moving plans rolling to push her over the edge, while Elena records it all, her journal packed with 2 years of dirt on embezzled funds, fake lines, the works. Susan bites hard, tows my van for illegal parking. But the driver? My farmer's market regular, unhooks it laughing. "Your kale turned my wife's diabetes around, John. No way I'm hauling for that witch." Susan's face twists purple, screaming, "You'll regret this. I'll yank your licenses, bankrupt you both." That night, she rams through an emergency rule at the HOA meet. No moves for 90 days post-listing. Pure BS. But her puppet board nods along, scared or owed. Elena objects. This ain't legal. But Susan shuts her down. Sit, Elena, or I'll remind everyone about your illegal oven. But Elena's sly. Live streams the whole rant on the neighborhood app, Susan foaming. John Harlan thinks he can bolt. Nobody leaves Oak Ridge without my okay. Comments explode. Call the cops? Knife in her bag? Yeah, zoom in. There's a bulge like a blade. Chaos erupts, Susan lunging for the phone. But Elena dodges. Hubby taught moves keeping the feed live. Dawn brings vandalism. My garden trashed. Deserter, sprayed across Emily's time. Footage catching Gary mid-act with Susan directing like a twisted puppet master, plus a wilted lily on my stoop. Traitors get this. Sweeping up, heart aching. Emily would have wept seeing her legacy ruined. Elena texts, meet tonight, alone, big. At her bakery after close, dough scent thick, she unloads docks. Susan siphoned $200K from HOA pots, funneled to her sister's flips, bribing City Hall, her cousin on dispatch burying complaints. Why me? I ask. You humiliated her in court. Power's her drug, and you showed she's weak. We amp the plan. I push forward, she digs deeper. Next, Susan hits health department with contaminated crops, but inspector, my tomato fan. Clean bill, and hey, got any squash for the missus? Backfire city. Susan's fuming from her window as he loads up. Desperate, she cuts my power and water via her bogus contractor. 95-degree hell, plants wilting, Emily's heirlooms dying, market calls frantic, hospital deal teetering. Isolation hits hardest. Rumors I'm dealing shady stuff. Neighbors shun me, echoing those empty months after Emily faded. But that time bush? Still green, stubborn like her, pushing me on. HOA showdown peaks. Susan dictating new fines, absolute power grabs, obey or else. Elena stands. Actually, folks, let's talk missing funds, forced sales. Room erupts, stories flood, Susan's cat kill cover-up, kid find threats, she bolts, dialing Gary, plan B, now. Intimidation ramps. Gary blocks my drive. Official security, snapping pics, breath boozy at dawn. My son Alex calls, cop 3 hours away. Dad, saw the vid, file a report. But Susan's ties kill complaints. Then crash here, he urges. Can't, Emily wouldn't run. Pause. I'm coming, vacation approved. That night, porch sitting, shadows creeping, Susan stares from her car, then dials, Elena's text. She called cops, armed intruder, pointing at Alex. Sirens scream, 5 cars surround, guns out. Hands up! Alex calm. Officer Alex Harlan, badge 3172, off-duty, visiting dad. Susan shrieks, he's stalking me, fake cop. But officers murmur, wait, commendation guy? Then Sergeant Vargas rolls up. Stand down, I vouch. Susan charges, arrest him. Gary backs. I saw threats. Vargas grins cold. Gary knocks, under restraining order for stalking. Paid to spy. That's conspiracy. Tide turns. Alex shows vids. Utilities cut. Meltdowns. Susan cracks. You're all jealous I built this. Lunges, slaps Alex, felony assault. Cuffs click as she trips into Emily's tomatoes, Gary sprawling over her decorative planters, hiding spy cams. Vargas whispers, we've built a case months. This seals it. FBI drops the bomb. Photo of Judge Elias Grant tied to Susan's fraud ring. Bribery, rigged foreclosures across counties. Her empire, crumbling under federal weight. Trials hit fast. Gary gets 2 years for stalking, sings like a bird on Susan's files of dirt. Susan? 5 years federal for embezzlement, rights abuses, led away in Orange, screaming about comebacks. Restitution floods in. I expand the farm, hire her victims, donate to shelters. Emily's dream blooming bigger. Oak Ridge? Elena leads now, ditching tyrants' rules for real community. Gardens everywhere, folks chatting, kids free. Last drive-through, time sent lingers, and word is Susan's prison gig, tending veggies. Karma's got jokes. But here's the thing that still nags me. Was Susan pure evil, or just broken by her own power hunger, twisting community into control? What do you think? Ever dealt with an HOA nightmare or seen justice swing back like this? Drop a comment. Share your take on right, wrong, or if folks like her deserve a shot at redemption. Hit subscribe if these real-life twists hook you, and let's chat.